Dr. Hoskins-Brown, can you let us know you're here?
Yeah. Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Public Education for the City of Savannah and County of Chatham. We will open with our, if we will all please stand, we'll open with our national anthem.
Good afternoon. We are privileged to have the Skylarks from Savannah Arts Academy. They are a high-performing treble ensemble. They were just here visiting us last Friday at the swearing-in ceremony. And again, we are very grateful to have them offer their time and talents to us. They are under the direction of Miss Mary Woodard Thompson. This is her second year at Savannah Arts Academy and her 17th at SCCPSS. And thank you, ladies, for all being here and sharing your gifts with us. If you would please remain standing after the national anthem for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hear it again for the Skylarks. We're having a technical difficulty. Okay. You good now? All right.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended and posted.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Announcements. Monday, January 20th is Martin Luther King holiday. District staff, school staff, and students will be out that day. That is also the day of the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade at 10 a.m., and we will be in that parade. January 28th is the Chatham County Spelling Bee at the Savannah State Student Union at 7 p.m. January 28th through the 30th will be the 2025 Savannah-Chatham Day, and that is at the Whitley Hotel in Atlanta. And January 30th is the Audit Committee meeting here in the Whitney Complex at 8 a.m. Okay. Remembrances? No, I meant remembrances. Sorry. Thank you. Remembrances. Gary Morin from the STEM Academy at Bartlett, data passing 1/2/2025. Brenda Lewis from New Hampstead High, data passing 12/29/2024. And Clara Hayes from Groves High School, data passing 11/23/2024. If we could all please stand for a moment of silence. Dr. Watts.
Happy New Year to everyone. It's exciting to be here. Happy New Year to everyone. It's exciting to be here and announce our Student of the Month for the month of January. This particular student is a fifth grader at Brock Elementary School. She is an outstanding student who takes her time in class and always gives her very best effort. She uses effective strategies and skills to understand any given task to ensure that she meets proficiency. This student has achieved high honor roll and has had the highest overall grade in math, reading, and social studies in her grade. She received the Leadership Award as well as an Award of Distinction in English Language Arts. In addition to her studies, she also finds the time to participate in 4-H. When asked what motivates her to strive for academic success, our Student of the Month said, "My little brother motivates me because he is not able to develop things as fast as others his age, so I will work hard to be able to help him." Please help me congratulate the Superintendent Student of the Month for December, Miss Chloe Gibbons. Chloe, please stand.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would love to have Chloe's family, parents, please stand, or any other family members in the audience. Thank you so much for everything that you are doing to deliver a student that is ready to learn to us every single day. I also would like to ask that the principal and/or the person that nominated Chloe to please stand. Thank you so much for the work that you do every day to take Chloe's readiness to the next level. Chloe will be taking home several gifts from our sponsors, including Members First Credit Union, Advertising Specialties, Georgia Southern University, Gulfstream, and more. In addition, Chloe and the students in her ELA class will receive copies of her favorite book, Parachute Kids by Betty Tang, donated by our sponsor, East Shaver Bookseller. Again, congratulations to Chloe, her family, and the Brock Elementary family, and special thanks to her nominator and principal, Desma Patterson. Thank you so much. Let's keep the applause going for our calls for applause report, good news report from the superintendent. We welcomed our students back to learning on January the 7th, and right away, we hit the ground rolling. The Student Success Expo was a huge success last Saturday, and we welcomed thousands of students and families to the Civic Center for fun, food, and exploration of our choice field programs. Scholars showed their skills in STEAM and STEM competitions. We had mock job interviews, public speaking, and so much more. Thank you to the entire team that came out to make that possible. A special thanks goes out to Dr. Angie Lewis, who is the wizard behind the curtain that pulls all of that great event together. Once again, a Woodville-Tompkins student is to be recognized. This particular student earns top honors in the Georgia Stock Market Game. The Georgia Council on Economic Education announced the top winners of the fall stock market game, and once again, a Woodville-Tompkins Technical and Career High School student took that top spot. Ninth grader Woodville-Tompkins business student Samaria Harley won the competition with a number of well-timed trades during the fall's game. This is the 4th consecutive season that Woodville-Tompkins has had the state title. In addition, Woodville-Tompkins claimed the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spots among student teams across the entire state. Congratulations to John Cook. We have to celebrate Mr. Cook.
Can he take some of our money?
Yeah, we might need to, he might have a larger calling, because clearly he has this down to a science. Congratulations to John Cook, who leads the stock market game program at Woodville-Tompkins, and to all of the students who participated. Thanks to Gateway Terminals for spreading holiday cheer with a donation of bicycles for our students. The folks from Gateway visited 11 schools across the district on Wednesday, December the 11th, to award bikes to students who showed excellence in attendance, literacy, and overall academic performance. In total, 150 bikes were distributed to students. This is the 3rd year that Gateway Terminals has donated bikes and helmets to our deserving Savannah-Chatham County Public Schools students. Congratulations are in order. 25 additional students from our district received their white coats in a ceremony last month. These students are part of the Medical Explorer Post, a partnership with the Boy Scouts of America and Mercer School of Medicine. They will get a front row seat to the medical profession, participating in hands-on activities in different fields. We can't wait to see them graduate from the program in April. In December, we also opened 2 new libraries, little free libraries to be very specific. 2 new book boxes were christened thanks to our All Aboard the Reading Express program in partnership with the Curtis V. Cooper Primary Health Clinics. Since January of 2023, our district has partnered with Curtis V. Cooper to provide age-appropriate books also at all well baby checkups. Last month, the partnership grew to include little free libraries at 2 new Curtis V. Cooper locations, one in Savannah and one in Garden City. Books are available in multiple languages and are kept fresh with donations and infusions from the All Aboard the Reading Express grant. Thank you to Rebecca Hine and her team, as well as Curtis V. Cooper Primary Health, for their support of our North Star. The Georgia Department of Education has recognized schools with exceptional academic achievement or improvement, including our comprehensive support and improvement schools that made progress over the last year, and Title I Distinguished and Reward Schools. 3 district schools were recognized as CSI Progress Schools by the state. Those schools included Mercer Middle School, Coastal Empire Montessori Charter School, and Susie King Taylor Community School. CSI schools had to show a 5% increase in the CCRPI Content Mastery component score from 2023 to 2024, and have a score of 80 or higher on one of the other components, which could include progress, closing gaps, or readiness. 6 schools were named rewards schools. The list of those schools includes Savannah Classical Academy, Schumann Elementary School, Otis J. Brock Elementary School, Hurd Elementary, Butler Elementary, and Hodge Elementary Schools. These schools are among the greatest improving 5% of all Title I schools across the entire state. These schools are among the, I think I already read that sentence. Another school to recognize amongst this list was the Savannah Classical Academy. Savannah Classical Academy was also named to the 2023-24 Distinguished School List. This list recognizes highest performance Title I schools in Georgia based on a combined ELA and math content mastery scores from statewide assessments in 2022-23. Congratulations to all those schools. Hats off to our finance department for receiving the Government Finance Officers Association's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award and the Meritorious Budget Award from the Association of School Business Officials International. These awards represent significant achievement and reflects the commitment of our staff to meeting the highest principles of governmental budgeting. The GFOA reviews over 1,700 budgets in this awards program, assessing how well each budget serves as a policy document, a financial document, an operations guide, and a communication device. I'm very proud of our budget and finance team for their hard work. Well done. You can all read these amazing stories and much, much more on our website. Please share them with your friends and colleagues. I think I missed one.
Yes.
All right, the scholars at Savannah High School began their fall semester reading A Growth Mindset for Teens by Sydney Shepherd. That's right, the entire school did a book study. Scholars reported improving time management and study skills and assuming a growth mindset to help overcome challenges, learn from mistakes, and to keep pushing forward. What great leadership and personal skill development there. The principal at Savannah High School says her students have gained so much from this project, including better communication skills, presentation skills, and a powerful push to build for the future. Kudos to Savannah High, and kudos to that principal for the vision to combine not only literacy school-wide, but also working on our students' leadership skills. Very exciting news. Thank you.
Mr. Hediger.
Thank you, Mr. Board President. Moving along in your agenda, we do have a few policies for the board's review as we move through the board matters section of today's agenda. Item 6.01 is Board Policy GBKA, Professional Personnel Layoff. The board will recall that we had previously reviewed this policy under the four-year policy review process back in September. We have since received some additional guidance from the legal team, and upon recommendation of the board attorney, we did specifically want to state a component very much for clarity that indicates that the elimination of an entire program is not considered a reduction in force under state statute, and we do reference that statute, and that is within the regulation component of this policy. So we're bringing this to the board as an administrative regulation change. No official action of the board, subject to your feedback. We will move this regulation forward with the recommended changes.
Okay.
Hello, I had a comment about this policy.
Go ahead, Dr. Hoskins-Brown.
Thank you. I see that we use the term layoff in the language of the policy, and a layoff is really a colloquialism for a reduction in force, and a reduction in force can be temporary or it can be permanent. So I ask that we take a look at that and indicate whether or not reduction in force is permanent or temporary, like a furlough, and see if we can't change the language of the policy. I think the staff is working on that, but I just wanted to read that into the record.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That feedback was received in advance, and we are looking at ways where we can ensure that we can make those modifications. One component that we did notice right off the bat is the word layoff is actually used in the title of this particular policy code section, and that is driven through the e-assembly component that GSBA provides us for the board policy manuals, which is actually across the entire state. So in addition to reviewing it for that reference in the actual policy language itself, we will see if we can modify the title as well, and that is subject to the feedback that we get from the GSBA on that one. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that would also be helpful, and it's an opportunity, particularly since furloughs are occurring more frequently now than they have in previous decades. It's an opportunity for us to provide leadership to GSBA in tightening up their language.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the board's agenda, this is Board Policy DCA, Fiscal Goals and Objectives. This is a first reader for the Board of Education, and this comes to you under our 4-year review process. You will see that there has been some modifications to it. One of the primary modifications for us was to ensure that budget documents, as we know, but we wanted to memorialize it in policy, must meet the requirements of reporting and compliance for the Georgia Department of Education. We also did change up some other components of the language to be more clear on the authorities and thresholds under transfers which occur in the budget process. And you'll note that in that particular area, we did cross-reference existing board policy DCI, which holds those thresholds for the board. So this is a first reader, first review under the 4-year review process.
Thank you very much.
I have a question on this document, please.
Yes, Dr. Hoskins-Brown.
Thank you. So one of the changes is in the second paragraph on the mid-year mid-year revenue and expenditure amendments is changed to just budget administration and changes. So it modifies the time where the review occurs, and it also, in the fourth line, expands. It seems to expand changes to the budget to alternately be approved by budget approval or balanced with previous expenditures. Can you tell me the intention behind that change about adding board approval is required or current year budgeted expenditures may be reduced?
Yeah, we went through this particular policy area to really have, one of the eyeglasses was to say, in a situation where the budget that's been previously adopted by the board had to been changed in some way, and particularly in situations where there may be a reduction in budget, while we haven't done that, at least in the time that I've been with the district, we wanted to make sure that we did account for that in the conditions that it may happen. I do think that in the way that that language is written, knowing that those are parts of the intent, that we can make that a little bit more clear. But for continued understanding of the intent on that language, I'll defer to our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Larry Jackson.
And the way it's written, we do want to modify the language. It's not clear the way we have it now, but we do want to have a chance to modify that particular sentence. But the main thing is if there's a big reduction based upon the policy DCI, that would have to come back to the board anyway because of the size of the reduction, and that's what we were trying to say, but we just need to figure out a better way to say that.
Thank you. That's really helpful because that was my concern, is that we've had a really good trajectory of ethics and communication between the board and the superintendent, and I expect that to continue, but thinking far forward in the future, this policy as it's written makes it look like you can make any budget change that you want without bringing it back to the board as long as the budget balances. And that was a little disconcerting for me. So I appreciate what you're trying to do to refine the policy to reflect our actions and make sure that we're aligned. But that was part of my concern, and I think you are addressing it.
Thank you very much.
Again, this is a first reader, so we'll bring this back to the board during the February board meeting for second reader adoption. Moving along in your agenda, we'll turn it back over to the board president for the board's annual election of officers, item 6.03 on your agenda.
Absolutely. So by bylaws, the election of the board officers is done by the board. So I will accept, yes.
I would like to make a motion. So, well, first I'll preface it by saying it's been an honor and a privilege to serve as the vice president this year. I've really appreciated the opportunity and support from my colleagues to serve in that position, and has been the tradition with our board over, I guess, the past several years. This is a position that typically we rotate among board members, and in keeping with that tradition and recognizing the great talent that we have on this board, would like to nominate Reverend Paul Smith for Vice President and Mr. Sean Katchmar for Vice President Pro Tem.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, yes. Paul.
I would just like to say that I'm very proud of this tradition that we have observed, because what it does is give every board member at some point the opportunity to feel what leadership looks like, and to be a very wonderful representative to the public. So I am very happy that we are continuing with this today.
Right. There being no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much.
Next on your agenda is item 6.04, and again, in the January meeting is the meeting where the board will announce the committees of the Board of Education, their members and chairpersons.
So, based on the bylaws, the committee chairs and committee assignments are done by the president, and I am happy to announce that we have someone that is going to chair a committee for the first time. So we'll start with academic excellence. The chair is Ms. Denise Grabowski. The members are David Bringman, Stephanie Campbell, Cornelia Hall, and Dr. Tanya Howard Hall. The Board Accountability Committee is chaired by Dr. Deion Hoskins Brown. The committee members are Stephanie Campbell, Cornelia Hall, Dr. Tanya Howard Hall, and Todd Rhodes. Our Audit Committee is chaired by George Woods, and the members are Dr. Deion Hoskins Brown, McLean Caldwell, CPA, Stephanie Campbell, Mario Hilliard, Wendy Owens, and Gertrude Robinson. Our Capital Improvement Committee is chaired by Sean Katchmar. The committee members are Dr. David Bringman, Stephanie Campbell, Denise Grabowski, Cornelia Hall. Our Finance Committee is chaired by Dr. David Bringman, and the members are Stephanie Campbell, Denise Grabowski, Sean Katchmar, and Paul Smith. And I serve as an ex officio member of all of those. Our delegate and liaison appointments, the delegate is, again, Ms. Denise Grabowski, and I will serve as the alternate.
Ms. Campbell's going to be busy.
Yes, yes. This is one way to learn. Yeah. All right. Now I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda. Second, to approve the consent agenda. Seconded? Is it moved and seconded? Oh, yes. No, she was seconded. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. All in favor? Hey, thank you. Yes.
Aye.
Yes. I'm sorry. All opposed? All abstaining? Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yes.
May I just back up for just 1 second? I don't want to go too far. I would like to take this moment, if we can join in a round of applause to congratulate Ms. Denise Grabowski for a wonderful tenure as Vice President. As well as I would like to acknowledge and give a round of applause to Dr. Tanya Howard Hall for a wonderful leadership and tenure as the academic chair for that committee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Financials.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Happy
afternoon.
New Year to those of you I have not had an opportunity to speak to. Okay.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I skipped something. I'll accept a motion to accept the minutes. We did? We did? Oh, we did. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. Thank you. The financials that were a part of your board packet for this month covered us through year-to-date November 30th, and that took us to 41.67% of our school year, of our fiscal year, and 30% of our school year. Our local property taxes are currently at 57% of our budget, which is higher than what we collected in FY '24 by 2%. And we were at 56% in 2023. Overall, our total general fund revenues are at 51%. Of our budget, and that's higher than we were at 50% last year. For our Fund 100 general expenditures, actual teacher expenditures are at 29% of budget, which is within the normal range that we would expect to be at this time of the year. And our paraprofessional expenditures are at 33% of budget, which is also within the expected range for this time of the year. Our total general fund actual expenditures are at 31% of our current budget, which is lower than we were this time last year at 32%. At this time, there's no significant concerns in any of our other funds. I would accept any questions that you may have at this time.
Questions? Anyone? Dr. Hoskins-Brown?
No questions.
All right, continue.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
Good afternoon. Agenda item 8.02, budget transfer, Allen's High School Athletic Complex expansion. The Capital Projects Department requests the following budget transfer for the Allen's High School Athletic Expansion Project. This includes adding more seating capacity to be able to host the GHSA 4A playoff games, 2 field houses, additional restrooms, team rooms, and a larger press box. The transfer is coming from Fund 308 unallocated in the amount of $2.4 million to create an Allen's High School complex expansion account line. Thus, be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve the budget transfer as noted.
It's been moved by Mr. Katchmer. Do I have a second? Second by Dr. Howard Hall. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. Continue.
The next item, 8.03, is for the bid expansion of C-19-05 district-wide furniture, fixtures, and equipment annual contract. Staff now request a ratification for the one-year contract extension dated August 16, 2023 to April 15, 2024, with expenditures totaling $1,120,484, and request ratification of a second contract extension dated April 16, 2024 through April 15, 2025, with the firms Georgia Specialty Equipment, LLC, and Mason Incorporated at an estimated cost not to exceed $700,000. Thus be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approved a ratification for the one-year contract extension for April 16, 2023 through April 15, 2024, with expenditures totaling $1,120,484, and approve a ratification of a second contract extension for April 16, 2024 through April 15, 2025 for bid C-19-05 district-wide furniture, fixtures, and equipment to Georgia Specialty Equipment, LLC, and Mason Incorporated with an estimated cost not to exceed $700,000.
It's been moved, seconded. Any discussion?
I'd just like to ask Mr. Jackson, when we approve this amount, it remains in your department, and then the department needing the money puts in a request to you, and it goes to that department at that time? Is that how that runs?
No, the actual expenditures occur either within capital projects or at a school within their budgets. What we're approving here is just in general the max that we think we're going to pay or purchase from that vendor. But the actual purchases occurs in each individual department or school budget.
I see, okay.
Dr. Brinkman.
I'm just going to do this for Ms. Hall because she didn't do it. I'm so glad to see that one of these contractors is a local provider.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. But now that you gave me the opportunity, I just think about it. We get some tables and they break down. We don't have to wait for someone from Kalamazoo, Michigan to come to fix it. We have someone right here on Roland Avenue in Thunderbolt to come and take care of it. I think that's wonderful.
We have to wait for the parts to come from.
All right, there being no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. All right.
Okay, the next item, 8.04, Windsor Forest High School, design change order number 2 for Hussey, Gay, and Bell and DeYoung International. On November the 3rd, 2021, the board approved the award under RFQ C-18-05 for design professional services for the Windsor Forest High School replacement project to Hussey, Gay, Bell and DeYoung International Incorporated in the amount of $2,641,983. A subsequent change order in the amount of $151,500 increased the contract to $2,793,483. Staff has reviewed the changes and resulting additional design costs and recommend that they be approved, and the superintendent supports this recommendation. Funding will be allocated from the project budget, so no budget transfer is required. Thus, be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the board approve change order number 2 to Hussey, Gay, Bell, and DeYoung International Incorporated in the amount of $933,435 for added design services for the Windsor Forest High School replacement project.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All abstaining? Okay, thank you. All right, and that's it. We
I think
deleted.
we had 3 items that were pulled from consent and moved.
They're moved back
Awesome.
in. Yes, we're good.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we have 2 people who have signed up to appear before us today. First of all, we have Mr. Harmon Chanel.
I feel so fancy, I get the podium. Good afternoon, board and staff. My name is Harmon Chanel, and I'm here to raise some concerns of my peers and I about safety at the Savannah Arts Academy. Every single school year I've been at Savannah Arts, there have been significant problems with the HVAC systems. Most of them stem from the fact that building staff aren't able to control the system, and overall they are pretty minor. But for the sake of conversation, let's talk about a specific example. I'm going somewhere, I promise. The dress code for outerwear was suspended on December 3rd and 4th of 2024 because parts of the building were somehow colder than outside. While this was fixed fairly quickly, it is not the end of the story, as you can imagine. The very next week, toxic black smoke from the HVAC could be seen in some classrooms and smelled in many, many more. Naturally, someone pulled a fire alarm and the school evacuated, except for several entire hallways that could not hear the alarm. The fire alarm was so quiet in many classrooms that a teacher talking in a normal teaching voice could easily talk over it. Some of those classes unknowingly sat in the toxic smoke for 5 to 10 minutes after the fire alarm was pulled. If that's not bad enough, the exact same thing happened last school year. If this doesn't give off safety red flags, it really should. What's worse is before the building renovations in 2023, we had a normal audible fire alarm. Someone decided to fix something that wasn't broken, so here we are. Just imagine for a second a real fire. Hundreds of students could be left in the building for 5 to 10 minutes or even longer. I probably don't need to tell you that in a real emergency like that, wasted time could have tragic consequences. Any potential that students could miss a real fire alarm needs to be addressed immediately. On the subject of important information being inaudible, let's talk about the intercom. In many classrooms at SAA, the same intercom that announces lockdowns, weather emergencies, and important information for students cannot be heard or is barely audible. During an active shooter drill in the fall, some classes could not hear the lockdown announcement. The only reason they sheltered in place was the teachers knew ahead of time that that was going to happen. With a recent focus on security, it's frankly shocking that the district does not realize that this is a problem. While I won't take up much more time, know this. Students are paying attention, and maybe more importantly, our parents are too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Ms. Jacqueline Scott.
Good afternoon. I come before you today speaking on behalf of parents, grandparents, and also teachers. I myself was educated in Chatham County Public Schools. My brothers and sisters were educated in Chatham County Public Schools, and it was a great experience. My sister is a NASA engineer, and my brother also teaches for the Houston School District. I myself am a teacher in Chatham County, well, was a teacher in Chatham County before I retired in January of last year. So the reason why I'm here today is to ask, what can I do to help teachers and the pressure that a lot of teachers are under? I worked for Chatham County and I loved it. I would teach for free, okay? When I actually, seriously, when I actually began teaching, actually I began at Charles Ellis, and I took a position as a para-temp, which basically was you get $6.50 an hour, you have no benefits, and I did that for 6 years, and I loved every minute of it. After I got my teaching degree, I taught at Brock Elementary, then I went to Rice Creek School and ended up at Windsor Forest. And guess what? Each school I went to, the students that I taught, I loved it, and I still do. The reason why I retired was because I had too many strokes. And my doctor told me that, Ms. Scott, you could have been in a nursing home right now. And at that time, I realized that, it's time to go out, it's time to retire. But I did not want to stop teaching. So my desire was to but my desire actually was to volunteer in schools, because remember I said I would do this free. So I wanted to volunteer in schools, but the path to getting to be a volunteer was a little bit rocky, and I never did get on as a volunteer, so I went in as a sub instead. I love subbing, but I also see still that there's a lot of pressure that teachers are under, and I want to do whatever I can to help them. I will clean closets, I will sweep floors, it doesn't matter. I just want to help them because I've been where a lot of them are right now. And I really do value the job that teachers do. I have 4 children that came through Chatham County. I have 2 engineers, and one of my youngest son actually was the engineer in charge of the electrical work at Windsor Forest. And he also did the electrical work at Pulaski. So he was the engineer in charge. He came through Chatham County Public Schools. My son is a systems engineer with, guess who? The Board of Education. He came through Chatham County Public Schools. I have a daughter who is a physical therapy assistant, and she's also licensed in traumatic brain injury and stroke patients. Guess what? She came through Chatham County Public Schools. And I have another daughter who is a licensed social worker who works and also has her own counseling business, and guess what? She came through Chatham County Public Schools. So as you can imagine, I really have I have a dog in this fight with Chatham County Public Schools, and I really do want to help. Honestly, if there's any way I can help the teachers, if there's any way that I can, whatever it is that needs to be done. My name is Jacqueline Scott. I'll leave my phone number. I'll leave my email address. I just want to know what is it I can do to help. And that's the reason why I'm here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please keep barking. Keep the dog in the fight. And I'll ask that Mr. Derek Butler get your contact information. I'm sure we can find ways for you to help. Thank you so much for all you've done and continue to do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I'll accept a motion to adjourn. Been moved? Seconded? It wasn't long enough. All in favor? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Dr. Hoskins Brown.